Hello to my Virgos. All right, Virgos. All right, this video is going to take us through October 10th. We know that we have a full moon on October 7th. We have a full corn moon in Aries on October 7th. So right now, if you're watching this video on Saturday or Sunday or Friday, Saturday, so whatever day you're watching the video, at the time of filming, the moon will be moving from Aquarius into Pisces. The parts of your bodies that it could affect, going back to when the moon was in Capricorn, it could have been affecting your backbone, your joints, your knees, your skin, your hair. And so you want to pay special attention to those parts of your body, because source could be trying to give you a message that someone could be carrying the weight of someone else's world on their shoulders, and you could be feeling it. You could be picking up on somebody else's emotions, especially if you know it's not you, right? Somebody could be having joint pain or back pain, and you could be feeling their emotions if it's your child or a sibling or somebody. And so you want to gain clarity and go into prayer mode. You want to go into prayer mode for some energies, because somebody in this situation, if it's not you being bullied, somebody that you know and love could be bullied, and they may want to move, out of wherever they are, because they're constantly hearing negativity about you. It could be your kids or grandkids or whoever. You could be in this space of keeping people out of your business. You could be in hermit mode, keeping people out of your business, feeling good about life. And this person, whether it's your child or grandchild, could really want to spend time with you, and them saying anything kind about you is causing them to be talked to like they're worthless. Right, because people won't say it to your face, they'll say it to a child's face. But even if it's an adult child, somebody's being bullied, right, being pushed around, threatened to be put out the house, and this and that craziness going on because somebody genuinely loves you. I think a lot of people can relate to that. You have a lot of bitter people out here, a lot of bitter baby mamas, a lot of bitter baby daddies. I don't even really like the word baby mama, baby daddy, because at some point in time, for people to come together, there was some emotion that brought people together. And so some people feel like they should have all access to your life, especially if there's kids involved or grandkids involved. And that's going to be a no. You're learning how to enforce boundaries. These energies have done everything they could possibly do to stop your star, your 11th house, and you are ruled 6th house, health, and the house of health and well-being. And so the 6th house is a house of work and service. Here we humble ourselves, to the task at hand, the daily routines, duties, maintenance that put bread on the table and keep the body and mind in good working order. And some of these energies, even if you didn't have somebody else behind closed doors with you, they're in such unhealthy and unsacred spaces themselves. And just in life in general. And here you are, you've gone through some kind of a rebirth, and they want to know what's going on behind your closed doors, right? And they are just bitter, angry, frustrated. I would suggest, looking at your cards here, not to even bring, if there's a child involved, whether the child is 8 or 80. I mean, if you wouldn't still be alive if your child was 80 years old, but y'all get the point. Whether they're a child or an adult, everybody has an inner child. Keep these exes out of your relationships completely, especially if you've heard, I'm talking about, especially if you've heard them mistreat your kids, and they're never going to amount to you just like your damn daddy, or you just like your damn mama. Y'all only really use profanity, but y'all know what y'all got. The whole point here is when you hear that kind of just deep-seated hatred towards you, the best thing you can do for your kids is not to mention them at all in any capacity. Put all the attention on them, their accomplishments, their achievements. That is how you're keeping it adult and high vibrational. That's how you're doing your part to say, if these energies got something to say to you, they could say it to your face. But to put it to another child, because you would read them for filth. And I'm serious, like you would read them straight up for filth. Some of these bitter mother-in-laws or bitter father-in-laws, who's still angry, still harboring a whole lot of anger and frustration towards their spouse or who they had kids with. Some of them were, teenage parents, and still mad at with their teenage years because somebody that they had a child with didn't want to be with them. Some of y'all need to go to the courthouse and check and some of them were married to some of these people. Y'all need to go to the courthouse and check the court records. Who divorced whom, for real. When you start, and some of their families are still holding and harboring energy, mad energy toward, and guess who's being taken out on the kids? because somebody is still very bitter that they can't send the kids into your home to find out what's going on behind closed doors, right? Create a very firm boundary. Very, very firm boundary. So somebody is feeling like they just want to move. It can be your kids or grandkids because you're dealing with bitter, straight up bitterness. I personally would not be friends as a woman. I would not be friends with another woman who is that bitter and angry towards her ex that she chose to lie down with and have kids, and can't create a very firm boundary enough to stop talking negatively about that person in front of their kids. I would not be friends with somebody like that. I'd be like, you know what? Okay. It seemed like that's all the conversation is dominating, is talking about your ex. How old is the child now? 50 years old, 60? And you still bitter and angry? You still alive? Source is giving you an opportunity to clean all that up. Get into therapy. Stop being ashamed of therapy and all that stuff, and get yourself into therapy. But you think I'm gonna sit here and listen to all of that bitterness? Oh, heck no. No, they would be left outside of your life. I'm not trying to hear all of that. What I'm picking up on is a lot of times kids, when they're younger, they'll tell the other parent, like basically, how they feel about something that's going on in the house, maybe like looking for some kind of relief. And instead of the parent using it to help the child, to say, hey, listen, let's just focus on you and I'll talk to the other parent directly. They'll dump all this acid into their kids, right? And so somebody now is feeling like they've always felt left out unless you were the topic of discussion. A lot of people have that in common. This bitterness. Right? So, because you too busy, some of y'all are in romantic relationships singing, word to the person who wrote There Goes My Baby. I know Usher sings it, but y'all are like word to the person who wrote the song, because you too busy loving your life behind closed doors. Even if you're singing the song to yourself when you look in the mirror, like, okay, I know how, you're learning your love language behind closed doors, and somebody's ex wants to get behind closed doors and find out after all the mess they did to you behind your back. They wouldn't stand up to their family, wouldn't stand up to their friends, wouldn't stand up to anybody. But here you are in rebirth status, and they think they have a snowball's chance of hell getting into your life. Guess what? The answer is still no. They couldn't even stand up to their own family and friends when it came to you. Heck no. Nope. That's going to be a big fat no. Here we have the Hermit card. So the current energy is this for you. Your spirit confirms this is a week of introspection, clarity, and inner truth. Solitude reveals your next divine step. Yeah, and here's a challenge here. Feelings of lack or isolation may surface. Spirit reminds you scarcity is an illusion. Abundance begins in belief, not in circumstances. Yeah, some people feel so left out of your life. They want to make your kids feel like, or grandkids feel like, if you don't go get some information about my ex, they just obsessed. This is an obsession with ending you. But it started in their own family. Their family didn't want to have nothing to do with them unless it was something just purely a transaction. Purely a transaction. Stop being friends with people like that. Let them know, hey, listen, you need to take that mess to therapy. You got so much of an issue with your ex that you laid down and had a child with. And now all of a sudden you hate them because what? You don't even want to hear the answer. Like, go take that to therapy. You need to work all of that out in therapy, because you too busy living your best life behind closed doors. I wouldn't be friends with somebody like that. That's just me. So I want to hear all of that. You hate him because he moved on and he found his twin flame, or you hate her because she moved on and she found her twin flame, or maybe she just found herself and she just loving up on herself, or maybe he's just by himself loving up on himself, and you still mad, still using the kids as a pawn. Somebody need help. So I definitely feel like, looking at your cards here, as you're in hermit mode, you're learning how to keep people out of your life. If the relationship is over, it is over. I ain't trying to be friends with you, your family, no friends, anybody that's connected to you that could possibly get some information. If they happen to find out because they spying and scrying and planting, they're with an organization that's getting people moved around, being nosy all in your business, they happen to find out. But if you knew exactly who these energies were, and you knew they were connected to an ex who did all kinds of obsessive mess behind your back, you would cut that off with them too. Some of these people they cross over way too many boundaries. No, you don't want to be friends with an ex who is obsessive. Because now all of a sudden here your star is shining bright wherever you are. Like maybe you're the star of your department or star of your organization, or you just kind of, so your star is shining bright. A lot of people have this stuff in common. Somebody wants to just latch onto your star, but they've been lazy. They don't want to do anything except just latch onto your star. They want to stay connected to all the hard work and effort you put in, like you gave birth to them. Heck no. Them and their family, they want you to take care. Nah. What? You better move on. That's what I'm looking at here in the cards. You better move on. So yeah, somebody feels isolated, but they've been feeling isolated since they were a kid because something is purely transactional. Purely transactional. That's all it is, right? So the Ten of Wands here is that somebody is moving. You carry too much responsibility for too long, and so Spirit honors your diligence, but says it's time to release what no longer serves your growth. Somebody could be moving. Yeah, somebody could be moving. So that's a lot of money coming across your path, but somebody is tired of being stalked. You're tired of being stalked by these energies. So it's not that you're, this time it's a clear choice, because somebody is very clear who is behind the bullying tactics. You didn't know before, but now you're starting to understand that some of these energies for them is just purely transactional. They've been lazy. They don't want to get an extra job. They don't want to do anything extra that's going to put money in the house or food on the table. They just want to ride your coattails and give you a bunch of excuses for why they can't do this and can't do that. You're not trying to hear it anymore. They are out of your vault door. And anybody that they're sending to find out what's going on in your vault door, that's going to be a no. Even if it's your adult kids or grandkids, hey, we'll meet somewhere else. Well, you don't want me in your house anymore. It's not that I don't want you in the house, because you're going back to certain energies. And you already know how they're being grilled and interrogated when they get back to where they're going to. But that stuff is in their family. They don't want you. They just want the attachment to you, while they still do sneaky stuff behind your back. With and whole organization backing them. No, heck no, you don't want to be connected to them. So the conscious focus is the Magician card. Your awareness is on creation and empowerment. And so Spirit says you have the tools, speak, act, and manifest from your highest vibration. You're not giving these energies any of your energy whatsoever. You're cutting the air supply at all. You're not telling them, if you decide you're going to move, you're not telling them where you're moving. Nobody that's connected to them. And again, you'll know that you're being stalked, because and now it's been narrowed down to exactly who is behind, who is being used as a tool, because that was the energy that was closest to you. The little spy. Sometimes it's your kids, sometimes it's your grandkids. And so you just kind of going along with the flow, because your mutable sign, or wherever Virgo sits in your birth chart, you're just going along with the flow. And some of you all, like I said, somebody has Sagittarius in their birth chart, but because it's a Sagittarius card here, some of you all may be moving just to protect whoever this energy is. So when they say they don't know where you live, guess what? They won't be lying. They won't have to be hammered. They won't have to be interrogated, threatened, all of this other stuff, because people are starting to wake up to realize they've been being used their whole lives. These kids, that's grown up to adults, they've been used their whole lives. What's going on at home? I'm just obsessed by somebody you had kids with, whether it's a man or a woman. Been overwhelming the kids. Somebody could have a Pisces, could be involved in something. Somebody is so tired of carrying that weight on their shoulders. It's actually showing up in their body, their weight. So they may not be pregnant, but they may have like that weight gain in their midsection, or just feeling like they kind of have a hump on their back. Like, they don't look like what they've been through, sitting around overwhelmed, carrying all that weight on their body, constantly being used as, being treated like a donkey or a mule, or, somebody who's just carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. Nah, do them a favor by, when you move, don't get them your address. Don't find out, because they won't be lying. They can't tell. They cannot tell if it's an adult. They won't be lying if they say they don't know where you live. They won't be lying. They will be telling the absolute truth, no matter how much somebody could sit there and put them under hypnosis and they wouldn't know. But somebody now has narrowed it down. You know exactly who is obsessed with you, and they will not be lying. But they've been used since they were little. They probably as far back as they can remember, 5 years old, being constantly just used. What's going on at this person's house? What's going on there? It's obsessed. Some kind of generational cycle chain and curse is being broken immediately. They obsessed. They done talked about you so horrible to their family, whoever these energies are, that people wondering if you the freaking celebrity. You famous in their family because somebody can't keep their name out of your mouth. Their side of the family, whoever you had kids with, they can't keep your name out of their mouth to save their lives. And it's actually pretty sad. And you're on top of it. So you're taking some kind of a gamble. You took some kind of gamble and said, okay, you know what? I'll go along with the flow. I'll go along with the flow. They hated your family so much. I'm telling y'all, a whole entire family can gang stalk people. A coven. That's what they are. That's a synonym for coven. A gang. A pack, you know, a pack, like a pack of wolves, right? As soon as you catch wind of something, and a lot of people are starting to realize, like, you know what? I may have had kids with the person who, you know, cannot stand up to their own family. They wouldn't protect you even if you were about to give birth and somebody in their family physically assaulted you. They would stand back and still defend their own family. At that very moment, some people realize, man, okay, I'm having a child with the wrong person. Whether you're a man or a woman, I know men can't have babies, but some of these women wouldn't protect you in their own family. They would let their whole family almost spit on you right in your face, and they would be like, well, you know, this my family, you know, family over everything, under that spell. Nah, forget all of that. You having somebody would not have your back, but they'll stab you in the back. No way. No freaking way. Goodbye. You and your family, but all y'all. It's an end. Goodbye. So that you can continue shining bright. That's how some people are that's why some people realize when you have kids with somebody, you like, okay, your family is not as bad as you thought. You're like, dang, if I survive my family, why do I need to be in survival mode with somebody else's family? So somebody would attack you while you pregnant. Somebody's family would attack you while you pregnant, about to give birth. They still stressing you out, making all those snide comments. Is that so-and-so's baby? Is somebody pregnant? You know, just craziness because the same thing has been done to them. So now light is coming on for you. Why people keep people out of people's business? Because somebody started at the Five of Pentacles but never got to the root of something, never got to the Ace of Pentacles to find out what is the reason. That's the reason right there. So yeah, you too busy, whether you single or with somebody, you don't want to have nothing to do with none of their family, none of them, because this right here, you realize when you were pregnant, they did nothing to protect you, and they've been leaving you unprotected ever since. They can sit right there because everything for them is a transaction. They would sit there and let their mother or father-in-law attack you like a wild beast, because they waiting on somebody to die and waiting on some kind of inheritance, and you're supposed to sit there and take all that mental strain and stress and risk losing your child or risk losing your relationship because somebody can't control the mouth of their family members. Oh no. You ain't doing that. I don't know what planet these people think you're on, but it happens to a lot of people under this moon right here. A lot of secrets are being exposed. So somebody is now sitting there, whoever this energy is, whether it's your kids or grandkids, they want to move so bad. When they've been wanting to just be away from all of that since they were 5 years old. I don't know what people, and so somebody in their teenage years walking around got the weight of the world on their shoulders, because guess what? Every single time they go to the other side of the family house, guess who the topic of discussion is? You the topic of discussion. It's sad. It is really, really sad. That is why the best thing you can do for your loved ones who you know that the other side of the family hates you is never bring them up again. Unless they bring them up. And a lot of kids do. They want to let you know, this is what they're saying. It's like, you know what, sweetheart or baby, whatever you call your kids. You know what, I know. But let's focus on you while you pour into them. Let's focus on you while you pour into them, because them wild battle cats for real that you dealing with over there, you never had any protection. You got somebody sitting here, all for them is everything is a transaction. If money is not involved, they don't want to have nothing to do with protecting anybody. But the way that they would fight over a paycheck in the workplace, they'll knock over tables and chairs to get to a paycheck or some money. But for you, they wouldn't spray water on you. If you was laying on fire 9 months pregnant, they wouldn't help you. So no. That's going to be a no to them and their family. So somebody now sees that your star is shining bright, and all of a sudden they want to send somebody to your house to find out, okay, why this person so high vibrational, so happy, so filled with glee? Because you learned the secret. That's why. That's the secret. You can have compassion for whoever this energy is, but guess what? They won't have access to your light until they learn. You don't have to be in the middle of anything. You don't have to be in the middle of anything. These kids and grandkids, especially even as an adult, some of y'all are learning now. Hey, some of your aunts and uncles ain't have nothing to say to you unless you was talking about your mom or dad or talking about this. They ain't want to have nothing to do with you. They ain't want to invite you to nothing. Now all of a sudden you sitting around, and if it seemed like you got a problem with your mom or dad, they sitting back cracking up laughing. It's so funny because they always had an issue with your mom or your dad, and so now that they feel like they won something, like it's been a competition. Immature. Y'all, immaturity don't even describe it. So you're learning how to keep people out of your business, and now it's something that's starting to click as to when people say a relationship is over, it's over with you and your entire family. No, I ain't trying to be friends with your sister. No, I ain't trying to be friends with your brother. No, I'm not trying to be kikiing with your aunts and uncles. Don't invite me to the cookout. Don't invite me to nothing. I don't want to have nothing to do with any of y'all, because this is what y'all raised. Y'all raised a person who could not even protect whether you're a man or a woman when y'all were with them. This is what y'all enable. No, I don't want to have nothing to do with y'all. I don't need to know with who they dating, who they having kids with. That is none of my business. That's your stance. You don't want to know nothing about what's going on with them. Good for them. Good for them. Your prayers have been answered. They stop obsessing over you. Good for them. Good for them. They stop obsessing over you. So now you can focus on your star. You don't have nothing to do with them or their family. You don't hate anybody. You don't have to operate in hate, but no means no. No means no. You don't have nothing to do with them. So somebody is moving. So you've carried too much responsibility, right? And so when I'm talking about emotional and physical responsibility on your back with these energies. They hate you, talk about you horribly behind your back, but then yet and still they'll send their kids over to find out, like little spies, to find out what's going on in your life. That door is closed until your kids, whether they're adults, well, if they're little kids, obviously that's different. But if they're adults, you're saying, listen, you don't want that spirit in your house. You don't want that spirit in your house. It's that crystal clear. Some people may think it's ice cold, but whatever. Somebody has been dealing with this since you were pregnant, or since your person was pregnant. If you're a man, since your person was pregnant, having to deal with the abuse of the other side of the family, that ends immediately. And that's going to be the secret. That's the secret to really sending that spell work back, right? So subconscious energy is the moon. Its uncertainty stirs beneath the surface. So spirit calls you to trust intuition over analysis. Truth is found in stillness, not control. No means no. You don't want to have anything to do with people who are secretly sending your own kids and grandkids in to find out what's going on in your life so that they can build their abundance and prosperity. Once you find out who came into your house right before your money went kaput, like down the drain, that ends their physical access to your life. You can talk to them over the phone all day long. I love you. You're not talking about the other side of the family. You don't have anything negative to say about them whatsoever, because it is what it is. You are not their God. But this one has no physical access to your home. So they can't even get back home good and sitting down taking their little coats off before they're interrogated. Did they got a new furniture? Did you see extra glass in the sink? Do they got a boyfriend or girlfriend? Like what? Just sick, y'all, for real. So you're cutting off ties. This is why people keep stuff secret. These energies will do anything, take people to court, swear up and down people are lying to find out what people's finances are, anything to stay in the loop. When I say obsessed, that is an understatement. Obsessed. This is obsession. This is what obsession looks like. Until you put an end to something, until you say, okay, I'm going to roll the dice. Because somebody thought something was all fun and games, right? I'm going to roll the dice. Leo's rule, 5th house. I'm going to roll the dice. And now somebody is seeing something for what it truly, truly is. Yeah, because somebody has been feeling worthless. All they keep hearing is what's going on. I'm telling y'all, somebody is so obsessed with what's going on behind closed doors with you, it don't even make any sense. It has to be some form of mental illness to want to know that bad what's going on behind somebody's door. And that you would be willing to use your kids and grandkids, adult kids, younger kids, whomever, to spy on what's going on behind it. There has to be a form of mental illness. It has to be. There's a name for it somewhere besides just pure evil. Them and their family want so bad to know about what you doing, how did you get that new house, who you're dating. I mean, like paparazzi. But they wouldn't stand up for you, whether you're a man or a woman, with their own family. They let their own family attack you, ride you like you a Seabiscuit, bullied you while the person sat there act like they didn't hear anything. The TV was too loud. Oh, they was doing something else. Well, I mean, that's just how they are. They so busy defending their own family over you. That's why I'm telling y'all getting ready. Somebody about to start learning at the beginning stages of a relationship, because now they're trying to, these same energies are bullying you, saying that the reason why your child was bullied is because you moved around so much when they were the ones that was bullying you. Now something is clear, crystal clear. They've been bullying your child to find out what's going on in your life, and every time you find out, you've been moving. And so now you're like, nah. You're not. Some of y'all are moving, but some of y'all are not moving. Some of y'all are like, you ain't moving nowhere. You're just keeping people out of your life. Now that you got it clearly as to how on some of your jobs, some of your events have been canceled. If you have a business or whatever, like let's say for instance you're an artist or whatever you're doing, they have done everything under the sun, under the moon, and is now being exposed. See, you got to get with some people who was born a star, because they already know how some people's families will do anything. If they feel like you got singing engagements or whatever, they will quietly write letters. This is your family and some of your family members and some of your ex's family members. They will write letters to end you, so you get no more events, you get no more money, no more this and that. But a star, you can't stop somebody's star from shining. That's just on your journey to pure consciousness. You cannot stop somebody's star from shining. These energies are so obsessed with your star, they will mask it as support. So whatever it is that you did, they'll go harder than you will. So if you're a veteran, for instance, they may not have served one day in the military. They sign up for nothing, diddly squat. They got every excuse under the sun for why they didn't. Every excuse under the sun. Because there's a whole lot of ways of supporting the armed services. You don't have to. I wouldn't recommend anybody going to the military for real. But these energies, as long as you are feeding into this, then you letting them feed into your ego, they seem like they ride or die for you. Literally ride or die for you. But the moment you end it, you dead a situation and you say, okay, you don't want to have anything to do with certain people, that's when you're going to see a rage come out. That's when you see a rage come out. Where you're responsible for this, you're responsible for the marriage ending, you're responsible for my kids don't want to talk to me anymore, you're responsible for this, you're responsible for that. Nah, they're not looking in the mirror at themselves. They're not looking at the mirror in themselves. They're just as toxic as ever and need a complete flushing out of sorts. So I do see you doing some kind of a detox so you can continue rising to the top. So kudos and congratulations to you, but you're not dealing with that mess. You're not dealing with them or their family or whoever's connected to them. No, because again, something started in the womb of you being attacked. You being attacked. And you may have seen this in your own family, where you may have seen your, let's say for instance, your man or woman, it don't really matter. You could have seen your mom attacked by your dad's side of the family, and you said, I'm breaking that generational cycle, chain, and curse. Ain't no way I'm sitting around, whether you're a man or a woman, where a seed has either been planted or you're carrying the seed, letting another family attack you while the other person is sitting there like they're a zombie. Somebody should have raised heck to their own family and said, no, y'all have lost your mind. You having all this conversation around my so-and-so who's pregnant, or the man or woman, whoever, who planted the seed or carried the seed. They're not even putting their own family in their place. And then they want you to be in battle cat mode with them, and you giving birth, and the baby, brand new baby, just came into the world. Got to listen to that chaos and confusion. Y'all breaking generational cycles, chain, and curse. Gone with your bad selves, Virgos. Forget that craziness. Because something is overwhelming. It's over. You ain't gonna be over. I'm telling y'all ain't gonna be overwhelmed no more. I can tell you that right now. You're not gonna be overwhelmed because you know your worth and you know your value. You're not gonna be overwhelmed anymore. You ain't carrying these people no more on your back while they sit around and talk about you behind your back while the person that you had kids with sit there like they don't hear anything. Okay, you hearing impaired. Your sight impaired and your hearing impaired now. Okay, right. But when it comes to a raise and when it comes to your money being increased, or it's like money is the magic word for some people. Ding, then their ears open up. And now they can hear, everything is clear. They got 20/20 vision or better. They can hear things clear. They got the ears of a dog. They can hear everything. Listen, you gonna learn how to keep people out your business. So yeah, y'all know if you've been tuned into my channel, my assignment is to take it down to the lowest of low, to bring you back up, to help you to recognize. So many people go through the same thing under the sun, under the moon. It's not even funny. And that's the secret, keeping people completely out of your business. Once you find out that your kids, grandkids, or child has been used as a secret spy to get information, you already know the price that they have to pay to be a part of that family. So the part that you play in it is to protect yourself and to protect them, is to physically keep them out of your business. Physically keep them out of your business, because the other side of the family want to know so bad, but they can't stand you. Okay, they can't really stand themselves, but they projecting it onto you. So here we have the Empress card, because I'm telling y'all, listen, and anybody who's in a relationship with somebody who sits there and obsessed over the other side, obsessed over you, right? Obsessed over you and somebody else in a relationship with them, that person has to be tired of sitting there listening to the whole family attacking you. How horrible you are, how this and that, how you moved around, how your child being bullied. Who wants to be the topic of conversation? Child, listen, that couldn't be me. I'm not sitting there listening to somebody's ex about how horrible somebody's ex mom or ex dad is, and that's why the child is bullied. Y'all seem like y'all need some help. That's just my mouth. I would say it to the whole family in front of everybody. Like, you know what? Come to think of it, thank you for inviting me, but let me go grab my coat and I'm out. Cause it sound like y'all whole family is obsessed with somebody's ex. I'm out. I ain't trying to hear that. That's when you know your worth and you know your value. I'm not sitting there listening to somebody dog somebody's ex out because the child has been bullied when the family is playing a role in doing this. Bye to all of y'all. So that they turn that mirror right on back around to all of them. Y'all just expose y'all demons. No way I'm sitting there listening to that mess. So yeah, so something is overwhelming. Something is overwhelming because some of y'all have grown up in families where y'all have seen the other side of family attack your mom or your dad, and the parents sat there and did absolutely nothing. But you were too little to speak up, right? But now you're not too little to speak up. You're not a little kid. You're actually speaking up. You're ending that cycle. You're not doing. And if you're the person who is, just like I said, if you're the person that's sitting around a family that's sitting around talking about an ex, and you can see the child feels like they just child, or even if it's an adult child, they gotta sit there and listen to all of that poison. One, y'all know they secretly watching the ex, and the ex knows it because they already know the obsessive behavior. This one right here, they had a child with, has zero backbone, except for when it comes to money. That's the only time they have a backbone. When it comes to their family, they don't say anything. They sit there like they didn't hear nothing, didn't see anything, and then get mad at you, whoever you are, if you speak up and ask, well, why don't you say something? They won't say a thing because money is involved. Money is involved. That's the reason why. Money or some kind of property or something is involved. Something of tangible where you can cash in or get money or something. Something is involved, just like some people treat their kids. If the information is valuable enough to find out, get behind closed doors and find out how they making their money. Everything is a transaction, literally everything. So somebody, that's why you got to end the situation. That's why somebody's going to end the situation. And I'm looking at the Magician card here, which is your conscious focus. Your awareness is on creation and empowerment. And so Spirit says you have the tools to speak, act, and manifest from your highest vibration. And so the Moon card lets me know that this is your subconscious energy. Uncertainty stirs beneath the surface. And so Spirit calls you to trust intuition over analysis. Truth is found in stillness, not control. These energies have called you every kind of, if you're a man or woman, garden tool under the sun behind your back. And they had a whole organization backing them. And guess who has to listen to it? Your child or grandchild. That's why they feel so comfortable disrespecting you, talking about who you slept with, who you were with behind closed doors, because who did they get that information from? The other side of the family. And in some cases, it's from your own family. That is why I'm telling y'all getting ready to leave a whole lot of people out of your business. I'm telling you, if y'all knew that some of these organizations will pay for people to have apartments, family members, anything to stay connected to you, to find out who you're sleeping with and who you're with. They will pay people's rent. They will pay for people's living expenses, anything to end you because you don't want to be with somebody who never stood up for you. That's sad. That is really, really sad. There's no compromise in that. You're dead at the situation. It's a done deal. You're done. You are done. You have no respect for people who can't stand up to their own family when it comes to you, whether you're a man or woman. So, yeah, Ace of Pentacles here. You have a lot of money coming across your path. So a new opportunity, this is a near future, a new opportunity, idea or grounded beginning is taking shape. So Spirit shows potential growth from the seeds of your patience. You've been very, very patient. You've been very patient with whoever you have kids with or grandkids with, because they've been doing the most. They have been doing the absolute most. But this right here, it rules 12th house. You already know the secret at this point. You don't even have to go along with the flow. You don't have to be overwhelmed from drinking, smoking. You don't have to be overwhelmed. It's the other side of the family. And again, somebody saw this in their own family, where you saw your mom or dad grieve because somebody wouldn't tell their own family to sit down and shut up and stay out of their business. No, because babysitting was involved. Somebody paid somebody rent, so they feel like they had to sit there and listen to that mess. Not today. Not today. You're not dealing with that. You're breaking a cycle, and it's going to show the clearest message to your kids and grandkids. You don't have anything negative to say about them. You already know. You don't have anything bad to say about them. You're not even giving that type of energy, no energy whatsoever. You're too high vibrational for that. A light had to come on for you when you were in hermit mode, when you realized, dang, this energy never had your back. But yet and still, they sitting there still in grief mode over your star. Child, please. So no. So you're on top of something. You're on top of something. Wheel of Fortune. Fate is turning in your favor. Spirit says divine timing aligns opportunity. So be open to sudden blessings and shifts. And so the fear is death. So you may fear endings, yet Spirit affirms transformation is sacred. And so release allows rebirth. So trust what must evolve. You don't even fear death. I'm telling y'all, because energy never dies. You're on such a high vibrational energy right now, even if that means that somebody is still trying to process. But the death is what I'm talking about here. Is the key to it is not saying anything negative about them, not letting them get you to a place where you vibrate so low that you're sitting around, you just like your darn daddy, or you just like your darn mama. You out here living your absolute best life, but keeping them outside of your vault door. For you, once you let a little spy into your house and all of a sudden your finances go kaput and people find out this and that, some of these energies will contact your bank, they'll contact your job, they would do all kinds of stuff, gang stalking on social media. If you have a business, they'll write bad reviews on your stuff. They'll do all kinds of stuff, and a secret has been exposed. They are obsessed. A bunch of gang stalkers. You don't want to have nothing to do with any of them. That's how you're going to live your absolute best life. You ain't running scared, moving every 5 years or every 1 year or whatever, because you feel like, okay, maybe they have people positioned around me. Your kindness towards people, believe it or not, is going to even change their mind towards the people that's stalking you. Because they like, why are you so upset? This person's actually really a nice person. And you're not even being fake or phony. You're just genuinely being you. It's turning these people against these gang stalking individuals, because they're sitting there protecting, they're enabling somebody who would not protect you at all, whether you were the seed, whether you were planted the seed for the baby, or you're carrying the baby. This person, whoever the other person is, they still want you to carry them, because all of these people connected to them feel guilty and they feel responsible for somebody being bullied because they didn't do something. So they want you now to carry all the weight on your shoulder. Listen, unless your name is Seabiscuit, and I'm sure your name is not, because you're watching this video, you ain't carrying somebody else's responsibility. You're not raising somebody else's son or their daughter. And I'm talking about that wants to lay with you. That should feel, I'm telling you, that should make somebody feel sick to your stomach. You're not raising somebody, they want you to be their mother, and they want you to be their wife or husband. That is what therapy is for. Why would you do that to a person? Okay, you mad at your mom or your dad because you were bullied, but you gonna get somebody pregnant? Therapy. Go to therapy. Hug a tree. Kiss the sun. Do something. Drink some water. And I'm not trying to be funny when I say that either, but no. Still the feeling like, okay, but my mom or dad should have, been there for me and such and such and such. But I'm telling y'all, it's a whole organization that is behind it. All this constant moving. And for the moment somebody wakes up and sees, okay, because on their side of the coin, they're saying, we want to keep families together. That's from their side of the coin. We want to keep families together till death do you part. We want to keep families together. Even if it's unhealthy and people are losing their lives, I think not. I think not. So start packing. Your new dream home is loading. I think not. Why would somebody stay in a relationship where your life is at stake? You know how serious childbirth is for a man or woman, and how sacred that is for, if you're whether you're a single parent or whether you with your person, and to have the whole family, other side of the family, causing you so much stress. You either have a premature child or something happens to it. It's no way in the world. Listen, they couldn't be me. I'm cutting the whole family off, and anybody in my family that supports that mess, they cut off too. So y'all all go sit over there. Y'all all go sit over there together in the same miserable space, because misery loves company. So here comes some kind of spiritual union for you. So congratulations. Some kind of spiritual union is coming for you, because ain't no way in the world you've gone through a very powerful transformation. You're not letting these people drive you to drink or be on drugs or any of that mess, because they wearing a mask. Vain, vengeful, green with envy, and like to point fingers at everybody else, but can't stop getting a copycat of you, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on. That somebody is now trapped in fear. Yeah, but guess what you doing? You moving on. You've been empowered. Don't nobody have time for that. You can't stand up. You can impregnate somebody or carry a child, but you can't stand up to your own family. You're not a grown up. You're not an adult. Somebody's still working out some mommy or daddy issues or somebody issues, but somebody is trapped in fear because you're focused. You're so laser focused, it's not even funny. And trust, they pissed off to the highest of festivity at this reading right now. I'm telling you, why you gotta be watching? Why you gotta be watching Queen Amun Ra? She don't know what she talking about. She don't know what's going on behind closed doors. No, I don't. I'm just reading the cards. Why is somebody so bothered? It's time to open your vault door. More money is coming soon. Yeah, so get some fresh air. So you have the gift of telepathy. This is a transference of thoughts, feelings, or ideas intuitively, emotively, and superconsciously. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, at the dating stage, when you with somebody and all you hear is about somebody's ex and how terrible the ex was and the whole family jumping on the bandwagon, that is your cue to get up and walk out right there. Somebody has still not healed from their ex. I'm telling y'all, the angel of prophecy and wisdom is with you. Your laughter is medicine. Y'all should see how many people be jumping on the bandwagon. Yeah, I got to see this ex for myself. Why? Aside from the fact that, okay, if they would do something to harm you, you want to just know for the purposes of, reporting them to the police, but no, why? In hindsight, somebody is realizing that they should have moved on a long time ago. It's your responsibility to move on. Some of the kids are realizing, dang, all mom or dad do is sit around and talk about the other parent. That's all they do, sit around and talk about the other parent. First of all, I don't even have that kind of energy to talk about an ex. You're an ex for a reason. I don't talk to you or your family. I wouldn't talk to you or your family. No, you ain't need to find out what's going on in my life. And you'll know because it's the one that keeps following somebody. Everywhere you move to, they got to move to where you move to. Talking about, because it's so deeply ingrained in them to keep the family together by any means necessary that this is an enabling. There's no accountability for what they did to you. None. And the people that's enabling it, they too busy got their own lives going on, but they still playing God. They got their own lives going on behind closed doors. So they don't really know. Then it becomes your side of the story versus their side of the story. The only side of the story that matters is yours. That's it. First red flag, pray and meditate. Anything to distract them from what's going on behind their own closed doors. You are breaking a cycle. You ain't trapped in fear. Wealth is within your reach. Y'all just don't believe the same thing. Y'all, whoever just don't believe the same thing. All of this, well, that's just how they are. They cussing you out. The siblings being disrespectful towards you, mistreating you, and you supposed to just sit there and take it like a punching bag in the spiritual sense, not physical punching bag, but in the spiritual sense. No, you're not. No, you are not. You have moved beyond being ashamed or embarrassed of having kids or being a single mom or a single dad, but you're not sitting there under abusive, stressful situations. It's stressful for the mom and dad to be around family members who attack you. Y'all see how men sometimes when their wives or girlfriends are pregnant, their body changes. It's almost like they eating the same thing she eating, right? It can affect you stress-wise too. You could be so stressed out. Next thing you know, you clutching your chest because somebody couldn't spare up to their own family. No, then you don't. No. And then they get mad at you. Won't do nothing to stop their family, but won't go get a copycat. Child, please. People are waking up. People are starting to wake up. Because somebody is still in love with their ex. This mess is generational. So God forbid you go get somebody outside your race or culture or whatever. Then they call it self-hate. Anything to look... Go get somebody younger or older. You must be a gold digger. Go get somebody outside your race or culture. You never loved yourself. That's why you're keeping these energies out of your vault door. You're keeping these energies outside of your vault door. You've already tried to follow their way of doing things. And so now you're in healing stage. So good for you. Now you're healing. So many blessings to you all. I say somebody is very passionate about what they do. Whatever it is that you do, you're very passionate about it. And I'm telling y'all, to keep your vibrations high, keep the spies out of your life. If you want to meet with your kids or grandkids, take them somewhere, find somewhere to go. But no, you're not going back to your house. Even during the holidays, there's a lot of families who do stuff like you may have. If you celebrate the holidays like Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever the case may be, whatever you celebrate, they may have something in a neutral setting or a neutral space because you're not bringing that energy into your home. You've already tried it. You've already done it. But something started in the womb where you were not protected as the man or the woman in somebody else's family. But you saw it in your own family first. So you're a subject matter expert of not feeling protected. People talking about this, keep the family together no matter what. Or everybody goes through this, such and such. People don't know what you've been going through behind closed doors. Why should you have to come out the house with bruises and like a battle cat, whether you're a man or woman, and you get going through something? You're breaking a generational cycle, chain, and curse. Child, please. So let whoever think whatever. They can say what they want to say about you. They've been attacking you, so they ain't gonna stop, right? Until you put it into it. Raise your frequency. Raise your frequency. You're operating in the spirit of love. These energies are operating in a spirit of bitterness and too afraid to speak up to their own elders and their family to say, we need to break this cycle, chain, and curse. Your third eye is wide open. Adjust your crown. Adjust your crown. So somebody is very, very powerful. So you have a spiritual union coming your way. You have a spiritual union coming your way and you're learning how to move on in the spiritual realm. You don't have to keep running from pillar to post. Keep moving here, there, because you didn't realize before who was actually behind the bullying, who got you fired from a job, who was behind this and who was behind that. It was this organization. It's the spirit of an organization doing it. Because they care more about appearances than people's mental and physical health. So wealth is within your reach. Congratulations to you. Congratulations. They've been trying to put you out from day one, but you got blessings coming to your door. This is what this is. You got many blessings coming straight to your door. And if you're entering into a new spiritual, this person, I'm telling you, because they've been around their family longer than you. If you're a woman and they got sisters, let their sisters overstep a boundary here. You won't have to say a word. When I tell y'all, it's gonna be the polar opposite of what you dealt with in the past. If they have sisters, if it's a man, the way he gonna gather his whole family in front of you, ain't gonna be no, I did this behind your back. He gonna straighten them clean out in your face to let you know, I will cut every last. He will cut his whole, because you're the product of his intelligent decision, right? So when they attack you, they're attacking him and they're attacking his decisions. Somebody will go, I'm telling y'all I'm telling y'all their family better not try it. And if it's a woman who has dealt with, she's been around her family her whole life. If it's a woman and you're a guy, I'm telling, whether it's the same sex or opposite sex, y'all know I don't care on my channel. Whoever it is, they're going to defend you in front of the person or people who try to be slick and try to disrespect you. Let you even look like you sad or got a grimace on your face, or like somebody said something slick to you while he was out of the room or while she was out of the room. Address it right there. And that's how you're going to know. That's how you're going to know. But all of this, I got to get this side of the story. What side of the story when he and she been growing up with them their whole life? What side of the story? There is no side of the story. He or she been with them their whole life. They not trapped in fear, but you'll know the ones who are. They scared to death. Oh, they just hide. That's just how they are. They older. They just say whatever they want to say out of their mouth. They been disrespecting you. They never had any respect for you, and they sure don't have respect for the person you bring in behind closed doors. They waiting on somebody to die so they can inherit a house or some kind of money or something. Like they lazy, and like they can't just get up and go get a job, whatever. Be like, okay, well, they work hard for that. Mom and dad, they work for hard. They can have their property or whatever the case may be. That's why you're learning how to keep people out. You're not even afraid anymore of somebody trying to have you put out. Afraid, that's a frequency. You're too high vibrational for that. You ain't worried about that. Some of these people need to put their family in their place, but they've been bullying them since they was little. They too afraid to even speak up to their own family. And even if it's your adult kids or grandkids, if they have to cut you off just to say, okay, I'm just trying to keep the peace. I don't want to have to keep hearing that every time I talk about you. I got to go through weeks and weeks and weeks. You say, I love you, but you do what's best for you. Do what's best for you. It's not a competition. If you're a man, somebody's father has been seeing you as competition from day one. If you're a woman, somebody's mother has been seeing you as competition since day one. That's why somebody can't keep somebody. I'm telling y'all, if some people go down to the courthouse and find out, now you don't have to go to the courthouse, you can look it online now and find out who divorced whom, or talk to people and find out who initiated a divorce, if there was kids or whatever, or who left whom first. You already know somebody got to a point, they ain't dealing with that mess. And if you really want to take it back, take it all the way back to their belief system. With church, mosque, temple, or whatever their religious belief system, right? Okay, because they do something religiously, right? Just, okay. Can't have the one I really want. Let me go get a copycat. I mean, my goodness. And just so we're crystal clear, all churches, mosques, and temples don't teach that kind of mess. Some people really are. There are some really good churches, mosques, and temples out here that really do teach about premarital counseling, like really, really sit people down, really have this, these protection. You don't have just men just supporting men, enabling men. You don't have women just enabling women. So there are some healthy organizations that's really helping people. But then you got the ones where they won't stop somebody from following and gang stalking, because they have to make you out to be the bad person. You have to be the reason why something has ended. It has to be you. You have to be at fault. And now you sitting somewhere overwhelmed, drinking or smoking something to oblivion, till you can't see straight. No, you ain't doing that. You just need to cut them off. Problem solved right there. Let them talk about you behind your back and you give it no air. None. While you grow your abundance and your prosperity. That's you. There it is. And get structured and authoritative and organized. Yeah. And let the tower fall on them. Not you. They played themselves. You don't want to be with nobody who you don't feel safe around, or your kids don't feel safe around them. You do not want to be with them. You're focusing on your healing. So kudos and congratulations to you. Your next love interest will make you happier. I'm telling y'all, because they had to deal with the same thing. They had to deal with the exact same thing. You wouldn't even have to tell them. You wouldn't even have to tell them. You wouldn't even have to talk about your ex. But I'm telling y'all, this next love interest for some of you all, if they even caught wind, and I'm telling y'all, because people know their family. They grew up with them their whole lives. They know their family. They know how messy their family is, how they messed up people's relationships in their family. They know who would mess around with somebody else's spouse, and they already know. When I tell y'all, they will let them have it in front of they will expose them in front of the whole family, cuss them out, whatever they need to do to let them know. No. You've been stepping over a boundary for far too long. Step over this one. And I'm not talking about violence either. They will cut the whole family off. I'm not talking about violence. I do not promote violence on my channel at all. They will cut their entire family off, and their family will be sitting there with a whole tower falling on them, knowing good and well that your person is dead right. So you got signs all around you. Some people are not playing about the product of their intelligent decision. They've done too much energy work on themselves to deal with their own family chaos and confusion, let alone deal with somebody else's chaos and confusion. They'll cut somebody's family off so fast, it'll make people's heads spin. And their family know it. Their family know. They like, yeah, they ain't coming back. If I don't know nothing else about them, they ain't coming back. They've been like that their whole lives. They would tell you that you're rebellious, that whatever. But hey, no, this is called self-respect, self-love, and self-respect in a form of self-care. You are not putting yourself through no more mental anguish because some people are wearing a mask. Vain, vengeful, green with envy, wearing a mask, but yet and still obsessed with somebody else. Ain't no way. Child, please. That's what I have for you. So start packing. Your new dream home is loading. I love it. I love it. I love it. Congratulations to you. Congratulations on your spiritual union with whoever this is, whoever you're with. Congratulations, right? Start keeping people out of your business. Start keeping people out of your business. So that's what I have for you. Bye.